Hi, welcome to the Learning Centre at JCU. This is a two-part series of videos on independent learning and critical thinking. First, we'll have a look at independent learning. On the JCU website, under the Get Ready for Uni section, you can find the question, what is expected of me as a student? The answer given is that university study requires you to be an active and independent learner. This is different from how you learned at high school and might push you outside your comfort zone. Lecturers expect you to engage with ideas, theories and evidence, and to develop your own thoughts and arguments on many topics. One of the benefits of university study is becoming a critical thinker. Well, this is great, but it definitely raises the question, what is an independent learner? We're going to try and answer that today. First, we'll have a look at the general principles of independent learning, and then we'll have a more detailed look at some of the practical things you can do to help yourself become an independent learner. Before we begin, I'd like to go through a little quiz with you. I want you to think about which of these statements is nearest to your idea of learning. Is learning when you add to your knowledge, when you've successfully memorized something, when you know something and can use that knowledge in a new context, when you've understood something, i.e. it makes sense to you, when you understand things differently, or when you're changed as a person because of what you've learned? Well, I think arguably all of these are valid definitions of learning, and that usefully highlights the point that learning can mean different things in different situations. Learning in an internship is different from learning at primary school or high school or in TAFE, and learning in university is different again. The kind of learning that we want you to engage in while you study here is the kind of learning that changes you as a person. I think that a quote from Albert Einstein is quite useful here. He said that education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Your education here at JCU should train your mind to think in new ways. Just the same as if you go to the gym every day to train your body will slowly change. In the same way, as you study here, your mind should slowly change over time. That's what it means when we talk about the kind of learning that changes you as a person. Another useful quote to help us conceptualize independent learning comes from the novelist E.M. Forster, who was talking about spoon feeding. Spoon feeding is an English idiom which describes a type of learning where you accept whole everything that's given to you without questioning it. You store it away in your mind and bring it up whenever you need it without ever really engaging with what it is that you've learned. It's the kind of learning that you do at junior school, sometimes in high school, and it can be very useful then for getting a certain basis of fact into your mind. In some countries, spoon feeding is also what happens in university, but not in Australia. Anyway, E.M. Forster said that spoon feeding in the long run teaches us nothing but the shape of the spoon. The thing to remember at JCU is that the responsibility for learning is on you. Do not expect to be spoon-fed. Take advantage of the fact that you have the opportunity to engage with, question, interrogate, and think about all the new things that you learn. Okay, before we move on to look at the practical side of independent learning, I want you to try a true-false quiz for me. We'll have a look at the answers together afterwards. How did you go? Let's have a look at the answers to that quiz. So, true or false here in Australia? The lecturer will tell me everything I need to know. My job is to memorize it. This is false. The lecturer will tell you many useful things. They'll probably walk you through what you could consider to be the spine or the skeleton of your subject. But it's up to you to flesh out those bones with your own independent learning. Go to the library, use the internet, work out what it is that particularly interests you about the subject and follow that up on your own. Next, I only have 3 hours of classes for my subject, but I will need to use my own time to read widely and research my study area. This is definitely true. Those 3 hours, again, will take you through the basics, but they're really a doorway into the subject. It's up to you to walk through that doorway. Next question. Subjects are taught in different forms. I may have lectures, tutorials, workshops, or practicals. That's true. There's lots of different ways to learn here at JCU. Next question. I don't need to attend all lectures or tutorials. Everything will be on LearnJCU and I can read the lecture notes at home. Well, while it is true that lots of information will be on LearnJCU and you can certainly revise your lecture notes at home, It's not true that this is all you need to do. Lectures and tutorials are a chance to ask questions of your supervisor, to form relationships with other people in the academic community, to be part of a group of people who are motivated by and motivate each other. So don't miss out on the opportunity. My lecturer or tutor will remind me when my assignments are due. This may be true sometimes. You might get a reminder in a lecture or even an email, but don't rely on it. Really, it's false because the responsibility lies with you. I need to stay quiet in lectures and tutorials. It's rude to ask questions. This is false. It's probably not a good idea to yell out questions in the middle of a lecture. Your lecturer will know when the time is appropriate to question them, but they're likely to invite questions. And tutorials are built around the idea of students questioning, participating, talking to their tutor, talking to each other. So come to your tutorials and lectures with questions that you want to ask, things you want to find out, or points you want to make. Okay, let's get specific and have a look at 4 key points of independent learning. 4 things that independent learners do. Number 1, they organize their time. What, when, and where will you study? The best way to do this is get yourself a semester planner before the semester even starts. Fill in all your key dates, your deadlines. Think about what you have going on outside university in terms of your private life, your work life, and work out how you're going to balance all these competing demands on your time. If you invest the time to work this out before the semester begins, you'll find that your ride through the semester is much smoother. Next, engage with topics, read and think around them. Remember that those readings you're given, your lectures are just really the key points, the key stepping stones through the subject. You need to fill in the area around them with your own knowledge. It's a great opportunity to find out what it is that you're interested in and follow up on that. Reflect. What are your opinions and ideas about a topic? Every time you learn something, take a little time out to think about what it means to you. What's your take on that knowledge, your opinion? Do you agree with the things you're reading or disagree? Why do you agree or disagree? Going through this process will develop your thinking and learning skills much more quickly than if you're spoon-fed. Finally, discuss. Share your ideas and listen to others. Talking and listening are as important to a successful university education as reading and writing. And part of discussion is not being afraid to ask other people for help and advice. An independent learner is not the same thing as an isolated learner. You're not isolated. You're part of a community here, so use that community. Let's have a look at some of the ways that you can seek advice if you need it. First place is to look in your subject outline. You'll have one of these for every subject you're doing, and it's full of useful information. It tells you the structure of the course, who's teaching the course, how and when you can contact those teachers. It tells you all the assignments and assessments that you'll have. It tells you how they'll be marked, and it tells you when they have to be submitted. So this is a great first place to look for that practical information. The library also has plenty of resources. On the library website there are LibGuides. These are available for individual subjects and also for more broader topics like how to reference or how to research. You can also drop in to the library desk and ask the librarian for help with searching for information or referencing. The Learning Center resources. The Learning Center has a huge range of paper resources, online resources, and face-to-face resources. Have a look at the Learning Center website to get a handle on all the things that are out there for you. The Learning Advice Desk, located in the library, is a place where you can go with help from everything to unpacking an assessment before you start it, to fine-tuning the grammar and structure and editing once you've finished it. You can drop in without an appointment and bring along your subject outline and whatever you're working on and talk through any questions you have with whoever's working on the desk. Student support officers are there. Student mentors have lots of experience that you can draw on. They're great people to go to for advice. And your lecturers and tutors. Let's have a quick look at that Learning Center website so you can get an idea of what's on offer. As you can see, the resources available are divided into 8 broad sections. Particularly useful for you now if you're just starting out at JCU are the Getting Started section in the top left-hand corner, where you can find all kinds of planners, and the short courses and workshops section in the bottom right hand corner, where you can book to take part in workshops on maths, academic writing, statistics, and several other areas. Before we finish, I'd like you to take the time to do a quick reflective exercise. Remember, reflection is one of those 4 key characteristics of independent learners. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1, how do your experiences affect your views of study and learning? Question number 2, what strengths do you bring to your university career? And question number 3, what may be some learning challenges for you? If you can devote 5 or 10 minutes to thinking about these questions, you'll be well prepared for the experiences awaiting you here at JCU. Thanks very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video on critical thinking, and best of luck. Bye.